Believable.
That's not unbelievable at all.
Button that up so good.
You like that?
Good job.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let me
thank
tell
you.
what else is unbelievable. There's more people jumping in the Democratic 2020 race.
Another one?
Yeah.
So another candidate. Now, we now have 10 official 2020 Democrat presidential hopefuls because Governor Jay Inslee of Washington just entered the race yesterday. So you've got Jay Inslee, Bernie Sanders, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Amy Klobuchar, Andrew Yang, Elizabeth Warren, John Delaney, Tulsi Gabbard, Julian Castro. In case you missed it, Jay Inslee is running on nothing but a climate change platform. That's all he's going to run on.
You said earlier he's AOC, except he's
an old white guy.
He's an old white guy.
Yeah. So he's AOC just as an old white guy, which means he's dead in the water inside his own party that plays identity politics. I digress. But, we'll see. Clearly, this is part of a absolute lurch on the left for that party.
Yeah. And now we hear that Biden's going to get in.
He is. Well, and now Biden, to point out, is very different than Inslee because right now, excuse me, many Americans are just waking up watching this channel going, who? Who is Jay Inslee? And he's not a well-known guy.
No.
But he sees an opportunity in this unbelievably wide open field. It's almost like if you were a card-carrying Democrat and you don't have anything to do right now, you might as well run for president because a lot of people are getting in. Former Governor John Hickenlooper of Colorado probably also jumping in, we're hearing. But
John Hickenlooper?
Hickenlooper. But the difference is that Biden comes in with a lot of credibility. He obviously doesn't need any name recognition, but his positions are seen as very moderate. Here, let me play a soundbite from him of what he was saying. I'm sorry.
No, there's a headline from the Wall Street Journal, and the Wall Street Journal says Biden leans toward another run, but the heart of his party is shifted. And Griff, to your point, another guy he'd have to run against is Bernie Sanders, who's a declared Democratic socialist. Joe Biden, no moderate, but he's an old school liberal as opposed to a leftist or a socialist.
That's where the heart of the party is.
Totally. So this is Bernie Sanders on The View yesterday talking about his views.
Does the Green New Deal go too far?
No. You cannot go too far on the issue of climate change. The future of the planet is at stake. Okay? We have, according to the best scientists in the world, we have 12 years to begin substantially cutting carbon emissions before there will be irreparable damage to the planet.
That is so fascinating to hear that because it was just this week that Clinton's staffers during the presidential run in 2016 outed Bernie Sanders as the biggest private jet diva of the entire cycle. So he thinks the planet's going to end in 12 years, but he still wants to do private jet
Well, of course,
travel.
there's hypocrisy there. It's a religion. It has become the religion of his base. And as a result, he needs to be prophetic about how urgent the times are. Who's this other guy, Jay Inslee? It's all they're going to talk about because their base, that's where their base is. And they've been indoctrinated in that.
Well, he has a rally in Brooklyn today, and it's where he kicked off his last campaign. I'm going to go to it.
I was just going to say, you should go. Fantastic.
Yeah, and it's going to be snowing, so I'm sure we're going to talk about the
I have to just laugh at this because it's so typical of a socialist. They preach egalitarianism. If you go on Facebook, Instagram, you'll see that Nicolas Maduro and Fidel Castro's kids, they're all on Instagram as the rich kids on yachts and so forth. So this is just very, very typical. Preach egalitarianism, preach about the climate, and then not do it yourself.
Well said. Well, our vice president, Mike Pence, was at CPAC.